All right, YouTube, Repo Man 64. See all the grass on me? I had to weed eat today. My wife made me weed eat. The last day on planet Earth, and my wife made me weed eat. Why? It's because we don't actually know the rapture day. We're simply trying to figure it out. I don't see anything wrong with going into the Bible and looking at all the math. It's so wonderful. God put so much math in there, so many dates and time spans. And I feel like I discovered the head of the year and when everything lands. I know Jesus' birthday. I know when he was conceived. I know the date of the flood. And it's really for me, it's very inspiring. Through math is how God speaks to me. He speaks to all of you probably in a different fashion, and that's fine. That's your piece of the puzzle. He's given us all. I got grass all over me. Weed eater wouldn't work. It's been hanging up there for months, and I had to take the spark plug out and clean it. But then it worked like a champ. So it's an Echo, so they're pretty good weed eaters. So anyway, so much grass. It's all over me. Anyway, uh, could this be? And I've said this before, and I pray I don't have to say it again. But and honestly, I'm speaking with a lot of watchers, and they are the math is running out. I don't know how else to say it. Unless some new information comes in, the math is running out. The two witnesses must witness for 1,260 days. Satan will go in on Passover and proclaim himself to be God in 2029. People are saying, well, what if these people that are in Israel aren't the fig tree? Or what if it's 100 years and not, 77? Then why give us a story about Jacob being 77 years old when he met with Leah and Rachel and Laban? And then worked for 7 years until he was 84. When we get to heaven, it's not a marriage, right? It's a 7 year period of time. We are married at the end, just before the millennium begins in 7 years, when Israel is 84. The Israel, though, can only run until they're 80. I know we see the 84, but they can only run until they're 80. And currently they are 77. They will be 77 until May 14th of the year 2026. So when you look at the dates and the math, I caution you to make sure you're looking at all of it. This is the year 6027. It is 123 Jubilee cycles from the creation of Adam. 123 Jubilee cycles from the fall of Adam, 7 years later, is the end of the tribulation. When they came into the land, when Joshua came into the land in 1406, that was, if I recall, 53 Jubilee cycles from creation. But then people are like, yeah, but he didn't actually possess the land. And when you grow, you can't eat of the field for the first year. And we're looking at 6 or 7 years. That's fine. You're looking at the same 7 years, and God puts it in there because we are looking at an overlapping Jubilee cycle. They are running in tandem and they are 7 years apart. And I believe that the rapture and seal six must happen in a Jubilee year, which ends on March 16th of 2026. The 1,260, all this math, all of it has to come together to create a picture. And we can't ignore some math and say, well, what if the generation's 100 years? You're forgetting that it's 6,000 years from creation. Now, we've discovered that there's 35 years we have to remove because of the time Jesus was here, because of the time Noah was on the ark, and because God changed the head of the year by 6 months. That's 35 years. Exactly. When we talk, let me go back to that. When we talk about Joshua crossing over and it taking him 7 years, 6 years to put everything together, that's the same thing. From the time Joshua puts everything together, 1406, we're looking at 1406 would be 1399. Is that right? 1399, I believe. And when you count from 1399 forward and you go the I think it's 70 Jubilee cycles. Yes, 70. You will land at the end of the millennium. So all of the math has to come together. All of the math has to work. It's not just one segment. I see it all the time. People take out one segment of time and say the math works here. It always works. It always does. Um, but you have to take into account all of it. And when you put it all together, the Joshua crossing over in 1406 and the land being ready or whatever it was in 1399, you're looking at 2025 and you're looking at 2032. When Jesus went to the cross in 30 AD, from our perspective, it would be 31, but it was 30 AD. When it's after 2 days and in the third day, when we're trying to fit that event, 32 AD, into a 2032 end of tribulation, it doesn't fit because it has to be after 2 days and in the third day. It doesn't say after 2 days and on the third day. It says in the third day. And that will only work if Jesus went to the cross in 30 AD. That comment, we were left clues. I mean, for me, it's a treasure trove of clues all over the place. I have not found, and it's not pride. Somebody said, you're prideful. I'm not prideful. I worked very hard on this. And I have not found one mathematical equation that can deny that the flood happened on October the 31st, November the 1st. I can't find it. There's nothing anywhere in the Bible that says that Jesus did not, on the Day of Atonement, begin his ministry in the year 26 AD. I can't find it. That's the same age Adam was when he was created, 26 and a half. Adam was kicked out of the garden when he was 33 and a half. He was there for 7 years. Those 26 years that he was created with age don't count towards anything because he was brand new, but he was given all of his faculties, all of his abilities by God supernaturally, that he was actually a 26-year-old man when he was born. So we can't take those 26 years and say, well, those 26 years plus, and those are the 35 years. I can't do it that way. Plus, I found too much evidence from extra biblical books that make the statement that he was there for 7 years. And it matches. It's symmetrical. 7 years of great in the garden, great. And then he sins. And then we go on for this period of time, and we have 7 years of tribulation. So it's symmetrical. 7 before, 7 after. We have in the center 123 Jubilee cycles from creation, 123 Jubilee cycles from when Adam sins. So my point is this. For me, it's the math. For me, the math says that the rapture must occur. It's just, again, this is my understanding, and that doesn't make it right. Although I haven't found anybody who some have tried, some have come up with some really interesting, thought-provoking ideas until I studied it out and prayed about it and studied some more and realized, no, that's not what it's saying. It's actually saying this, not to make it fit the timeline, but to show that there is nothing that I have found so far that would deny that. We know perfectly clear that there is a verse in the Bible that says these 46 years they've been building this temple and you're going to knock it down and rebuild it in 3 days. It wasn't talking about the temple, although it was destroyed in 70 AD, not 71, not 69, 70 AD, exactly 40 years after Jesus went to the cross. And so what year was that? Well, it began construction in 20 BC and finished construction in 26 AD. Jesus is saying this at Passover. He's saying this 6 months after he begins his ministry on September the 24th, the day of the Revelation 12 sign. The day of the Revelation 12 sign is where I do my math from. I don't do it from Joshua, although his and I have to be careful with this. I don't back Joshua. I don't know Joshua from Adam. I don't know Joshua at all, and I don't know what he saw or what he didn't see. But one thing I'm not going to do is sit here and call him an antichrist or a false prophet, because from everything that I have seen so far, Joshua's not asking for money. He's not looking for fame. He's not trying to grow a YouTube channel bigger than everybody else's. He simply brought us a piece of information that he believes that God gave him. I remind you that when God looks at an event, he looks at the entire event. That's why we get confused when we see that when Jesus died, the temple, the I'll read it in a second. I always forget that word. The tarp, the temple tarp, was torn. In Luke, it was torn in the midst, and in the other gospels, it was torn from top to bottom. So when we see that it says, and many of the bodies of the saints rose, and then they came out of the graves after Jesus rises. Well, you're looking at an 84-hour difference in that statement. And I believe what we're looking at is an omnipotent God, and we're looking into an omnipotent God who looks at this event, says that's an entire event. That whole thing is an entire event. We see the same thing with the ark. We've had discussions back and forth for many years. Did it start raining when he went into the ark? God told him to get into the ark 7 days earlier. But then it says, and because of the rain, God shut the door. And God did tell him 7 days, but then we get this arguing back. No, it looks like he shut the door as soon as he went in. It's a whole event. He didn't shut the door as soon as he went in. Noah literally sat there for 7 days with the door open. Likewise, the dead would appear as though they just kind of hang out for 84 hours until Jesus rises. So, but as I go through all of this math and all of these timelines these dates that we see in the Bible and time spans, and I put them down, one thing becomes very clear, that no matter how hard I worked over the last 30, 40 years, and mostly over the last 7 years, building this timeline. When I found initially, I wasn't sure. You saw my videos in the beginning. I'm like, I think that of the year is this, but I'm still, pulling the dates out of the Bible. And so, some people go through the Bible and look like the guy I'm going to show you his YouTube. Is it Mark Smith? Mark Smith, I believe, Strength Ministries. He put up a video which is only 2 minutes long. I'm going to share it. Hopefully, the audio plays. If not, you can go watch it for yourself on his YouTube channel. Please subscribe to his YouTube channel, because if the rapture does in fact happen here very shortly, like very, very shortly, if the rapture does happen, it's good to subscribe to these, to give these and share their videos. It's good to do this because it will help the tribulation saints. I really am frustrated. I have been for a long time, and annoyed with people who write off the tribulation saints as though they are not important, as though they're not the rest of the body of Christ. And you just haven't read the Bible. You just haven't read Revelation and understood. I was watching Philip Barnett again, and without judging Philip Barnett, just based on what he said you must turn from sin. You can't go to heaven if you're sinning. If you're stuck in open sin, then you must turn from that. And what he's done in that statement is put the power of salvation in your hands. You don't need Jesus. All you need is you. And all you need to do is make a change. You have the power within yourself to do so. And this is called humanism. This is not the gospel of grace. This is not the gospel of Jesus Christ. Yes, the tribulation saints outnumber us currently 100-1. They're everywhere. They're making videos. They're making fun. They're bringing up verse after verse. And there's tons of these verses that say you have to turn from sin. If you love me, you'll obey my commandments. And this is done during the tribulation. And as much as I have tried, there's this one channel that just keeps making videos, making fun of all of us that are stating that Just trust in Jesus and Jesus alone. The Holy Spirit will guide you, and the Holy Spirit will lead you to all truth. I think that uh, Lisa, is it Lisa Boyce? Watchwoman 65 says it the best. Let the Holy Spirit just lead you, guide you, minister you, teach you. If you will allow all that to happen and understand that it's not within your own power, if you will have that power, you'll get a double portion. You will have that power during the tribulation, but you just don't have that power to save yourself right now before the tribulation begins. And so it annoys me to no ends, honestly, where we discount the tribulation saints as though they had messed up and they are worth less than we are. And that simply is not true. I give you a general without an army, and he is nothing. That general needs an army. We are going to rule and reign in heaven, and these tribulation saints will work with us to work during the millennium. These tribulation saints are abundantly important. They are not to be discounted or laughed at or mocked and scoffed to say, oh, they messed up. They're not going. This is not the attitude that I have ever had towards them. Uh, they are very important. Those guys and gals that are just working so hard to do everything right, we see them. The Bible shows them to us. Didn't I do this? Didn't I do that? That's a group of people. And I think that's where Mark said something over at Strength Ministries. He said something. He says that the Luke is for the bride. I agree. He said that Mark is for the sleepy church. I agree. He says Matthew's for the Jew. I agreed. But then he said John is for the world. And I got to thinking about that and the verses that he's pulled out. There's two groups of tribulation saints. One group are those who thought they earned heaven. They will be the ones saying, I can promise you that people who never believed on Jesus or even cared about him are not saying, didn't I do this and didn't I do that? They're not saying that. So there's another group of tribulation saints, and it's a massive group. The people who are in the church who think they are holier than thou, that they have done all this work and they've proven themselves to God and they've added to the works of what Jesus did on the cross, they will be left here. But they will go straight to their knees because they already know Jesus. Jesus doesn't know them. They're not saved yet. But then you have this whole world of people who have heard you say, I have a whole group of people at work. They don't read anything. They just hired this person, and she says, I'm just beginning to study Revelation. It's so incredible. I'm like, really? They just hired her. I was like, that's incredible. I says, if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. And she's like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, we've been studying. We have a little group. We get together, and that's all we do is we study Revelation. That's awesome. That's so awesome, you know? And so, but they're mostly the people that work there have no clue. They have no interest, but they've all heard me say that this event is coming. They've heard me say it so many times that every time I say it now, they're like, okay, you said that before. It hasn't happened yet. I'm not trying to set them up to be mockers. I am trying to set them up to know that when the rapture does occur, what just happened, and that the lie that's coming forward it is going to be this three-eye atlas. It's on the other side of the sun because as soon as it goes perihelion, all these things are going to jump off of it and land on Mars, and then they're going to wait and they're going to come to Earth when the time is right. They're going to start communicating with us and all this different stuff that look, this three-eye atlas, it's moving 133 miles thousand or 130,000 miles per second or something, miles an hour. I don't even know how fast it's going. But guess what's going to happen after the rapture? It's going to go on by. But they're going to create this huge lie about it. It's just going to go on by like the other two did. It's just going to go on by. Nothing's going to happen. We're the only created beings in the universe. There's no aliens out there. The fallen angels are the other created beings created after God created the heavens and the earth. Um, on day one. They were created on day one. They were the light that was created. And they are and I forget how many fell. Some say 200. Some say, I think, a third of the angels. I don't recall exactly how many fell, but they are demonic, and they are the ones that are lying to the people, for example, in government, saying, we're going to make you gods of the world, and this is what's going to happen. So, with that being said, I want to get into this. Just remember that the high watch days are high watch days. I don't know when the rapture is going to happen. I want it to happen right now, but they're high watch days. And the 1,260 days. And like I said before, the tribulation hasn't started. You haven't seen any white horse there, even though they're teasing you with it online. Oh, look, this guy just out in, what was it, England, just got this white horse and his name is this. And I'm like, that's Satan teasing you, trying to make you think you missed something. He's trying to make you doubt. And so don't fall for it. It's a joke. What it's doing is the people who are on the fence with it are like, wait a minute, maybe there is no God. Maybe it's all aliens. Maybe we were planted here by aliens eons ago. And maybe the earth is billions of years old, and they can, is all this nonsense that they will come up with to try to deny what Jesus did 2,000 years ago, 4,000 years after creation, 6,000 years ago. That's it. That's what happened. There is nothing else that happened. So let me get into the pictures here. Actually, let me share the screen and see if I can play. Let me get my picture up out of the way over here. And let me see. I don't know if this will play. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Hopefully this is playing audio and I'm not just sitting here. If it is, you guys can go watch it here on Strength Ministries. All right. So Trump is going to stop the uh, the end of the world with his weapons, and we know this is the case at the end of the 7 years, where they're going to turn their weapons on Jesus, but they'll fail miserably. So um, I find that very interesting. Please go subscribe to Strength Ministries channel and listen to that audio. If the audio didn't make it through, then you can just, well, you would have fast forwarded it through, I hope. Again, this is what I was talking about. And the graves, let's read back here. And behold, the veil of the temple, we are here at the death of Jesus in Matthew 27. This is only spoken of in Matthew, I believe. I think I looked at all of them, and this was not spoken of in any other verse. And behold, and if this is speaking to the Jew, what does this mean to them? And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from top to bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent, and the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city and appeared unto many. Now, these people, we know that Jesus was the only one to have ascended to heaven after being dead. These people would have died again. It is appointed unto man but once to die for eternity. Many people have died and then been brought back. Many people have been sent to the morgue and sat up after hours. So that mindset of only being able to die once, it's a misunderstanding. The misunderstanding being that we are appointed unto once to die in the lake of fire for all eternity. I wanted to point this out again. Anytime you see blow up the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day, we have three events happening here. We have a new moon. Well, I would argue that that says new month. It is H2320. H2320 was translated 254 times as month. And then when they put the word new in front of it, that's when somehow month changed to moon. And this again was the influence of King Antiochus in 400 BC. So in my understanding, when I'm reading this passage, and there are a lot of good discussions you can find on the internet about Chodesh and what it actually means. And it actually means month. Blow up the trumpet in the new month in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. Now, the first of a month, they're supposed to blow trumpets. A time appointed is, I believe, when the rapture is going to happen. A solemn feast day always happens on the first of when a month, the first of a month lands on a Sabbath. So these three things must be fulfilled in order for this verse to be understood correctly. Blow up the trumpet in the new month, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. A solemn feast day, again, this new month will land on a Sabbath. Let me continue to show you. Now, again, math. We did a lot of math. 1,260 days from the cross, or the day Satan is going to go in and proclaim, or the Antichrist is going to go in and proclaim himself to be God, is March 30th. But March 31st and 14 more days, you will land on Apophis. Now, a lot of people are doing their math from Apophis. However, I can't see the Antichrist going in, proclaiming himself to be God as Apophis is flying by. I don't think that's the date he's going to do. I think he's going to do it on Passover on March 30th. But if we add the 14 Kasseis, I've spoke to you about that before. There are 4 of them every year, and in 3.5 years, there are 14. 1,260 days, but those 14 Kasseis brings us to October the 17th. April 13th, 2029, that's Apophis. This is what David found. David the Watchman found this. And he has his team that he works with, God's Land Down Under and Billboard for Christ. Matt, I think his name is Matt. This is what he discovered, which caught my attention. Apophis, subtracting 1,260 days, is October the 31st. Not a rapture scenario, in my opinion. However, this, in my opinion, if you look at Apophis coming in and you look at October 31st, many people are misinterpreting what Halloween is. They're calling it the Devil's Day. It's everything but the Devil's Day. October 31st is a date that Adam sinned and was judged by God. October 31st is a date that God judged the world and began the flood and shut the door of the ark. October 31st is Judgment Day. October 31st is God's day. This is not Satan's day. So when you celebrate Halloween, for example, what you are celebrating is the justice of God, the judgments of God. God has His grace, He's love, He's forgiving, but He's also judging, and He is going to bring to fruition what He said He was going to do. Everything the Bible said He was going to do is going to happen. Whether or not any of us can figure it out in advance, I don't know. But He is going to follow through with what He said. And He didn't give us all these dates and time spans, 1,260 days, 1,290, 1,335, for us to be clueless as to when it was coming. We know it's coming. We see it's on its way right now. So October 31st, keep that in mind. The night of being November the 1st, this is Judgment Day. Will this be the first day that a seal is opened? Is God going to begin judgment? Is He going to bring us in earlier? For the ark, for example, it was 7 days, but that's the completion of time. Is it going to bring us in earlier and then open the first seal on October the 31st? We shall see. This is Sister Sandy did a little fix for me, made it look better than what I had it. October the 13th, I was looking at as the two witnesses rising and then giving them 84 hours to begin. And of course, the rapture possibly on October the 13th. But it didn't happen. My cutoff point for this understanding, and then I will have to go back and reevaluate my understanding of these 1,260 days. But my understanding of these 1,260 days is currently that October the 17th, it will begin and it will end. The two witnesses will die when Satan goes in and claims himself to be God. The two witnesses will die on that same day. 84 hours, the Bible tells us they were dead in the street for 3.5 days, which is 84 hours. The two witnesses lie dead in the street for 84 hours. It's April the 3rd. However, I think it's reversed. And the reason I do is because the whole world will witness them rise. If they rise at 3 o'clock in the morning when Jesus did, only a select few saw Jesus rise before He ascended to heaven the first time and did the wave sheaf offering and came back on the 8th day to see Thomas in the upper room. And then He ascended again, only to come back 8 days later on the shore with bread and fish. And that's when everything began. These 3 times was He seen of us. Within those 14 days, He was seen of them 3 times. And then He continued on with them for 37 more days. And then He ascended again in their sight. So April the 3rd is the day Jesus rises. April the 3rd is the day the two witnesses rise. But I think this is reversed. I think they will die at 3 o'clock in the morning. And Satan will go in, and I think they will rise at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I have not done the hourly math on that, 1,260 days going back by the hour. But over here on October the 13th at exactly 7:26 p.m., Trump finished signing this peace thing that's supposed to last forever, thinking that he's stopping something. You heard the audio on Strength Ministries. He thinks he's stopping something. He thinks after 3,000 years, he's the one that brought peace. He did that at 7:26 p.m. on October the 13th, October the 14th, October the 15th, October the 16th at 7:26 p.m. until October the 17th at 7:26 a.m. in Israel. Wherever you are on planet Earth, do your math from 7:26 a.m. on October the 17th in Israel, and do your math. For me, it will be 12:26, just after midnight here Eastern Standard Time. You can do your math. Some of us will still be on, I will be on the 17th just by 26 minutes. And going further west of me, through the time zones, it will be earlier. Some of you, I think at that time, will be already on the 18th, but 7:26 a.m. in Israel on October the 17th will be exactly 84 hours from when Trump signed this historic agreement. What's interesting about that is also Israel was attacked at 6:30. Was it 6:26? It seems to me that God is pointing towards the morning time for Israel and towards the midnight hour for the United States, for example. I don't know. I don't like to say, I mean, God's people are all over the planet, and the numbers will make sense to everyone all across the planet in your own time zones. I believe this event is an instantaneous event, and I believe Israel is our timepiece that we were to look at to see when things happen. I've showed you this before. The Feast of Unleavened Bread and the Passover begins on March the 30th. And what's absolutely unique about March the 30th is not only have I been saying that Jesus went to the cross on March the 30th of 30 AD for the past 7 years, um, it also lands on a Friday. So all of the religious people are looking at Good Friday because they're miscounting how long Jesus was actually in the grave. And this is when the Jews are also looking at the Feast of Unleavened Bread beginning. Passover begins for them. So it's actually fitting everyone's timeline. And if you just count back 1,260 days from here, you will land on October the 17th. Pretty interesting that that landed that way. From the blood moon that we saw on September the 7th, if you add 40 days to it, you will land on October the 17th. I just did a bunch of math. From March 30th, I want to re-show this, I guess, March 30th, 2029. If you subtract 1,260 days, you will come to March 17th, 2025. This is where we are on the timeline. Remember what I said on the day appointed, in the new moon, on our solemn feast day. This is a solemn feast day. Not only is it a Sabbath, not only is it a new month, Heshvan 1, but it is also at sunset in Israel becoming October the 17th. So we have 14 hours here to deal with. And at sunset plus 14 hours, does that put us at 726? I'm not sure. I did not do the math on that. But you see that all of the criterion are fulfilled on this date, on Heshvan 1, the new month, solemn feast day, because it's a Sabbath, and it is a Chodesh, the new month, and it all falls on this day. Could this be the appointed time of the rapture being on October the 17th for them and for the rest of the world west of me being October the 16th still? I don't know. I think that's all I have. I wanted to do that. It wasn't as quick a video as I wanted it to be, but here we are. Hopefully that audio played, but if not, please go subscribe to Mark's channel and listen to that audio. It's pretty interesting. I heard a audio from Trump, and it was saying, I'm probably not going to make it to heaven. I'm probably not good enough. Although, and he starts going in, of course, his pride steps in. There's no pride in heaven. He won't make it in the rapture. But a part of me thinks that possibly if he has enough people around him stating that this was a rapture and not aliens, that he too might go to his knees and become a tribulation saint. I think there's still hope for him. I think he's a lot closer than a lot of people are. in that at least he recognizes that he's not good enough. Isn't that where it starts for all of us? We all start knowing that we just aren't good enough. And no matter how hard we try and no matter how much we do, we'll never be good enough. There's nothing we can do. And it's at that point right there, when you reach that realization, that point of all the work that you put in to your salvation and to everything that you thought you had a hold of, it passes away and you realize it's nothing but filthy rags. It's all trash. It didn't matter what I did. I had nothing to do with this event. Jesus did everything on that cross. I wasn't there. I had nothing to do with it. And I have no ability to contribute anything to what he did. And so I don't know how else to say it. I really don't know how else to say it. Uh, that's it. There is no way else to say to make that statement in that if you can't hear that, then you are not going in this rapture. If you can't hear what I just said, you are not going in this rapture. Even if you're looking for the rapture, you are not going in this rapture because you think and all the verses you put in there in the comments, mostly I just ignore them. I feel sorry for you. You must do this, and you must turn from sin. The woman, they were going to stone her. Go and sin no more. You guys don't understand what you're reading at all. And I can't force anybody to understand. I can't force anybody to trust in Jesus alone. You're going to do what you're going to do, and that's it. And so, with that being said, uh, and works sometimes is so subtle. Philip Barnett, hope he's saved. I hope he's the bride. But based on what he's saying and turning away, Philip Barnett is stating that we will not see a rapture until next year. Remember, God looks at the entire event. When you're listening to him make that statement, remember, God is looking at the entire event. The ark door is open. Noah is inside, just sitting there. He's sitting there for 7 days. And then God shut the door and the rain began. The same thing occurs with the rapture. There's not just the rapture. The tribulation saints are going to. The Bible tells us that. It's written right there in seal 6. There's no denying that that is going to happen. And it's a great multitude that no man can count. It's absolutely staggering how many people there are going to show up. That door will not be shut until seal 6. Once seal 6 happens, the door is shut. The question is, when is seal 6 going to happen? Seal 6 must happen before seal 7. And in seal 7, we see trumpets. How far do we believe trumpets is after the rapture? That's the question. Because if it's 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3.5 years, if trumpets begins in 3.5 years, then seal 7 will be open in 3.5 years. And trumpets and bowls will run through the last 3.5 years. But something tells me that with the two witnesses here and them having this ability to call down fire from heaven, to turn the waters to blood, and all those things that are described in trumpets and bowls, that seals are going to be opened up relatively quick. So, in my mind, the event that God is seeing, he is not going to be happy until everyone that will accept him of their own free will, whether it be before we've seen the rapture event take place or after the rapture event has taken place. Doubting Thomases must see something first. Those people will drop to their knees, but they are every bit as important. Every bit as important. And that I think that's the thing that irks me and has for years, how flippant we are. Oh, they were left behind, so they're probably going to hell. I, I don't even know what kind of human being you are. You're talking about your family members right there. You know, look at your family members. Look at your teenage kids who are running around, won't accept Jesus, laughing at you, telling you you're insane. There's no such thing as God. They're going to the lake of fire. Or when you're raptured, they look and say, "Oh my goodness, everything they said was true, and then they go to their knees. Think about that. Think about that, for you're too quick to judge the tribulation saint. God is going to perform, and when he looks at this event, and that's what I was getting to my point on Philip Barnett. Philip Barnett is seeing the end of the event. He isn't seeing the rapture. He's calling it the rapture, but it is not. Second Thessalonians is a gathering. Those people are not raptured. They die. They go to heaven. When do their bodies show up? In the fifth seal, it says, just hang on for a little while. They're given white coats, but hang on for a little while until all of the Gentiles be fulfilled, until all of them come in. That happens at seal six. The very next seal is seal six. How long? I don't know. I've surmised 10 days, maybe a month, maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, and 1 hour. I don't know how long it will be after the rapture, but make no um, just don't forget that it's a single event in God's eyes. Heaven opens, the rapture of the bride, the gathering of the tribulation saint. It all is one single event for God, because it's not over with until all of us are there. I hope that makes sense. There's more than the rapture is the very definition of rapture is taking you out of harm's way before something catastrophic happens to you. They will not be taken out of harm's way before something catastrophic happens to them. They will be gathered. Their souls will be gathered. Their bodies will stay here, dead on earth. Their souls will be gathered, and they will be taken to heaven. When will their bodies reunite with their souls? I don't know how long after seal six and that door is shut. I wouldn't imagine it would need to take very much longer than that for all these bodies to be gathered and brought to heaven. So just again, pray for people. Tell them, if you see me go, the tribulation saints are very important. They're very important, and they're everywhere. They're everywhere. If I were a judge, which I am not, and if I were given the ability by God to say, I want you to go and determine whether or not somebody is a bride or somebody is a tribulation saint, first of all, I would only do that if God told me to do so. He has not told me to do so. I cannot do so. I will not judge if somebody is saved or not. It's not within my power. That's pride and egotistical for me to think that I could determine whether somebody is saved or not. But based on what Philip Barnett is saying, I'm not judging whether or not he is saved, but his understanding is not correct. His understanding is that you must turn from sin. And a lot of people's understanding is that. A lot of people's understanding is that, and they have not rested solely on Christ and Christ alone. They don't understand. Well, as soon as you become saved, I guess you can go sin and do all you want, kill people. Yes, I can. I can. I can go do whatever I want. I will not lose that. I can go do whatever I want. You might not like to hear that, but that is a fact. I can go do whatever I want, but I won't. I won't, because it breaks my heart when I see what Jesus did on the cross for me. And to add one more moment of pain to him in what he's already done for me, I can't do. I can't hurt him any more than I've already hurt him. And I have hurt him a lot. But he saved me, and I don't know why. I don't know why he did that, but he did. He saved me in spite of me. I wasn't even looking for him. He just did it. I don't know why, but I can't walk away from it now. No, I can't go kill anyone. I can't go steal. I can't go off and cheat. I can't go rob people. I can't. I just can't. I can't. The reason I can't is because of the Holy Spirit inside of me smacking me upside the head every time I think of anything like that. Because the Holy Spirit is the one that deserves the credit for my change, not me. I didn't change. I'm sinful. I didn't change. The Holy Spirit lives inside of me. That guy inside of me changed me, and he gets all the credit, all of the credit. So, no, I can't go do those things. If you think you're saved and you're able to go do those things, you're not saved. I hate to tell you that, but you're not saved. If you think you're saved because you turned from sin, you're not saved. You just aren't. So I had to get this video out, and I hope it's my last video. I'll tell you what, and I'm not even exaggerating about this. For years, the last 7 years mostly, but for years, my pretty much my whole life. I mean, when I was a kid, I kept having this dream. It was reoccurring, and I actually tried to build the motor. I kept having this dream of flying through this big machine, wheels inside of wheels, and they were spinning and magnets, and they were like it was a motor. I knew it was a motor, and I kept dreaming it every night, more different aspects of this motor. And I literally tried to build it. I actually tried to take a patent out of it, out on it in Miami, and they said it's perpetual motion. It won't work, but it would work. I know it would work. At any rate, so the numbers are always flying through my head. I'm always on the timelines, and a new number pops in my head, or I read something in the Bible and I go to verify, does it match? Does it match? And that has kind of stopped. It is actually kind of weird for me. The numbers have stopped. I haven't seen anything new outside of October the 17th at all. And I'm looking like I always do, reading like I always have, but there's no new numbers. I don't know if that means anything. I really don't. But um, what I come up with is, tonight at 12:26 Eastern Standard Time, which is somewhere around 10 hours from now. So I guess we shall see. Is that 10 hours? I think that's 10 hours. No, that's yeah, that's 10 hours from now. So all right, we will chat with you all again later. Hopefully this is my last video. I don't even know what to name this thing. The numbers stopped flying. Nah, I won't name it that. We'll chat with you all again, hopefully on the other side in heaven.